This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this special meeting of the Connecticut Green Bank Board of Directors. I am calling this meeting to order. This is Thursday, July 28th, 2022 at 8:01 a.m. So hello. And I should ask first for public comment. Do we have any comment from members of the public? Seeing none, we should move on to the issue that we need to address this morning. And is Bert gonna?
I will do that.
Okay, good, Bert. So give us the update on Cargill Falls and what the ask is.
Sure. Okay, great. Well, as I think a number of you, many of you, probably most of you heard on Friday when I, excuse me, presented then, the Cargill Falls project, which is a mill redevelopment into a mixed-use residential commercial property, substantially all residential, with many affordable housing, 34 units out of 82 units as uh, as required by DOH's contribution to this project. It's in the town of Putnam. This transaction has a very long history with the Green Bank, going back to, I believe, 2013. It was one of our first large CPACE projects. It came in under the CPACE banner, although at the time it needed some adjustments in order to qualify as a CPACE transaction. Eventually, we did bring it in as a CPACE transaction, and it evolved over time to where we are today. As a residential development, it's a huge success. Occupancy is at 100%. The renewal rates are topping 80%, which is above the typical 65 to 75% that the manager of the property typically sees, and the manager has properties that they manage all over the state. So they just say that there's a substantial waiting list. Most of the units turn over in the months of July and August. So, but they have feelers out ahead of time, 2 months ahead of time. So they know that these units are going to be substantially renewing. So there's good news there. There's also good news on the commercial side, although still recovering from COVID. We're with revenue above what we had planned. We planned for a very modest amount of rental income in our projections. As far as hydro is concerned, we have been struggling with getting permits to do the work across, which requires taking out a lane on the bridge that goes into town. If you ever go through there, the mill is on the right-hand side, the town straight ahead of you, and there's one bridge, main bridge on the main road in town, 2 lanes in each direction. So to cut that down, or I'm sorry, it's 1 lane in each direction. So to cut it down to 1 lane only, which is what is required, requires obviously DOT permission. And how are you going to do that? Are you going to have a flag person, et cetera, et cetera? All of that has been worked out now with DOT. We're ready to go, and work is expected to complete by the middle of next month. And then we can get hydro back and fully working. One of the turbines has already proven itself, but was shut down pending the completion of the other unit. So that's been ongoing for a couple of years now. The impact of that to the property itself is that one of the big benefits, or the huge benefit, of having hydro there is that it provides the electricity for this substantially electric facility. And so the energy that is used for heating and air conditioning, on the property it was always planned to be provided by the hydro facility. So that means in the meantime, while the hydro is not working, power does have to be sourced from the grid. And as we know, that's quite expensive. So that has caused a shortfall in cash flow, which was not totally unforeseen, but we had hoped that we would have been able to have completed the work earlier in the spring. That did not happen. So there's a shortfall in revenue. So what? Um, let's go to the next page just to show you the property itself. It's really an amazingly beautiful property that's been redeveloped there. Um, Haynes Construction just did a wonderful job in terms of turning this into a real gem of a property, and as you can see, it sells itself in terms of a place to live and right on the Quinnebog River. Next slide, please. So, so where we are is the without the ability because of the delays in closing, completing the hydroelectric facility, and the extra monies that had to really be expended for energy to the grid. The the short in terms of cash flow to make the principal payment. They can make an interest payment, but not principal. So what we have agreed to do pending board approval is to push that principal payment into the second benefit assessment lien. And just to review at a high level, we have our first benefit assessment lien, which covers the majority of our loan, which is 7.1 million, plus capitalized interest, which over the long period of this development is totaled 1.7 million. But then there was an additional amount that the board agreed to lend, which was $1 million, and we put that on a very short repayment time frame of 10 years, with repayment to start in January 1 of 2022 of this year, but interest only until January 1 of 2025. So what we would do is we would take the $255,000, which is to be paid on the first benefit assessment lien in terms of principal, and merely move that into the second benefit assessment lien. So there is no additional cash here. We are just changing how that principal is going to be paid back. It's just going to be rolled into that 10-year period of the second benefit assessment. We get all the residual cash flow out of this project as it stands. So the developer is not making out on this at all. So we're very well covered in terms of security with the CPACE lien. The debt that is ahead of us is from the EPC contractor, the Haynes Company, which, as many of you will recall, if not for the Haynes Company standing by this project over the years and providing substantial capital, and I mean substantial, millions of dollars in capital, which above and beyond any contractor that I've seen for a project of this size and scope. This project would not have been completed. We wouldn't have had the 34 units of affordable housing, and the redevelopment of this mill, which is going to be, I believe, a landmark for this town. So that's where we are. Again, bottom line, no additional cash required here. We're just restructuring the principal, and happy to take any questions from you at this time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
This is John. Just a comment that I had raised this before. I hope that there could be some signage that indicates that this is the Green Bank project.
Yes, that was written. Thank you, John. That was written into our financing agreement. So we took that guidance from you and we put it into the financing agreement that was signed when the board signed off on this last year.
This is Lonnie. As I recall, I mean that was also one of the the key things that John underscores is the marquee value of this project for the Green Bank. I mean, it's something we can point to forever. It hits pretty much all the buttons. Revisiting, reclaiming hydro, you know, we're creating a grand list opportunity for a little town. I mean, everything, and as you say, 100% occupancy already. And it's taken something old and run down and recapturing it, and, you know, and really, so it's everything we said we wanted to do, and that's the marquee value is really important.
Yes, and we will be arranging a tour when we have the commissioning ceremony, so to speak, sometime this fall. I think it would be lovely to have that late September, early October, get all the fall foliage in, and maybe have some apple cider or something like that.
Any other questions or comments, observations?
This is Matt Dayton. Just a quick question about just the interest rate. Obviously, interest rates are going up. If we were to make a $250,000 loan right now, would it be on the same interest rate, same terms? Just want to make sure we're not, rolling it into a loan that may not reflect current market rates.
Yeah, I hear the point. The current interest rate for a CPACE is 5.5%, so there isn't a material difference between that and the 5% here. Plus, we have a sweep in place to get our yield up higher than that as part of the overall arrangement. And if you give me a moment, that is written up in what was sent around 0.95% interest kicker that is dependent upon revenues of the facility. So potentially we get up to 5.95 here.
Thank you.
Lonnie, it's Matt. I just want to let you know I joined. Sorry to be late.
Oh, great. Do you have any questions?
No.
No. Oh.
Matt hasn't had his first cup of coffee yet, but maybe not his second.
I was getting all ready for Matt. Come on.
No. Thanks, Bert, for all the hard work and the memo.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So any more observations, or should we move to adopt this sucker?
I move adoption of resolution number 1.
Great. Do you hear a second?
I second. It's Vicky.
Oh, thanks, Vicky. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Excellent. Approved. Thanks for showing up, everybody. This was really important. If I don't hear any objections, I'll adjourn this meeting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Have a good
Thanks,
weekend.
everyone.
Thanks.
Take care.
Have a
Bye.
good day.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
folks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.